For nearly 700 years, Japan wasn't ruled by an emperor, but by a series of military dictators known as shoguns. This was the age of the samurai, a time of epic battles, political scheming, and huge cultural shifts that forged the Japan we know today. Now, on paper, the shogun answered to the emperor. But in reality, whoever controlled the military controlled the country. This left the emperor as more of a symbolic figurehead in his palace in Kyoto. This system of military government was called the shogunate, or *bakufu*, and it was led by the shogun, the top dog of all samurai. The era spanned three major dynasties: the Kamakura, the Ashikaga, and the mighty Tokugawa. So, how did this all get started? How did it last for centuries? And what finally brought the age of the samurai to such a dramatic end? And how did one family, the Tokugawa, manage to unite a country torn apart by war and keep the peace for over 250 years, only to watch it all crumble with the arrival of a few foreign ships? Stick with us, and in the next 10 minutes, we'll uncover the entire story of the Japanese shoguns, from their incredible rise to their ultimate fall. Our story begins in the late 12th century. Japan was dominated by a bitter rivalry between its two most powerful warrior clans, the Taira and the Minamoto. The Taira had a grip on the imperial court, but let's just say their arrogance didn't win them many friends. In 1180, a fed-up imperial prince put out a call to arms, telling the Minamoto clan it was time to rise up and break the Taira's hold. Answering that call was Minamoto no Yoritomo, the exiled but fiercely determined heir of his clan. This kicked off the Genpei War, a brutal 5-year conflict that tore through Japan. From his home base in the coastal town of Kamakura, Yoritomo directed his forces with ruthless skill. The war reached its climax at the epic naval battle of Dan Nora in 1185, where the Taira clan was completely wiped out, giving the Minamoto an absolute victory. But Yoritomo didn't just grab power, he completely reshaped Japan's government. He set up his own military administration, the *bakufu* in Kamakura, far away from the political games of the imperial court in Kyoto. In 1192, the emperor, now little more than a symbol, granted Yoritomo the title of *SEII Taishogun*, or barbarian-quelling generalissimo, a title soon shortened to shogun. This officially marks the start of the Kamakura Shogunate and Japan's feudal era. For the first time, a warrior class, the samurai, was running the show. Yoritomo's government was surprisingly slick. He set up military governors, or *shugo*, to watch over the provinces, and land stewards, or *G2*, to manage estates and collect taxes. This created a nationwide network where loyalty pointed directly to him. But after Yoritomo's death, his sons weren't quite up to the task. Real power quickly fell to his wife's family, the Hige clan, who ruled as regents for figurehead shoguns. The Hige regency was remarkably stable, and even fought off to massive Mongol invasions in 1274 and 1281, but defending the country cost a fortune, and the shogunate couldn't properly reward the samurai who fought for them, planting seeds of deep resentment. By the early 14th century, the whole system was cracking under financial strain and fading loyalty. In 1333, Emperor Go-Daigo saw his chance, launched a rebellion, and with the help of unhappy warriors, brought Japan's first shogunate to an end. The emperor's return to power, the Meiji Restoration, was a bit of a flop. It didn't last long. Emperor Go-Daigo made a classic mistake. He alienated the very samurai class that had helped him win. One of his top generals, Ashikaga Takauji, turned on him. By 1338, Takauji had kicked the emperor out of Kyoto, put a rival on the throne, and had himself named shogun, kicking off the Ashikaga Shogunate. Unlike the Kamakura shoguns, the Ashikaga set up shop in the Muromachi district of Kyoto, right next to the imperial court. But being close to the emperor didn't mean they had more control. The Ashikaga shoguns were never able to truly tame the powerful regional warlords known as daimyo *. Their power was weak, relying on a shaky balance of power among ambitious lords. But even with all the political drama, this era, the Muromachi period, was an incredible time for culture. Zen Buddhism flourished and had a huge impact on Japanese art and style. This period gave us iconic buildings like the Golden Pavilion, Kinkakuji, and timeless arts like No Theater, ink painting, and the tea ceremony. This cultural boom couldn't hide the political rot, though. The shogunate's weakness blew wide open with the Nin War in 1467. What started as a family argument over who would be the next shogun spiraled into a decade of fighting that destroyed Kyoto. The war crushed what was left of Ashikaga power and threw Japan into a century of non-stop civil war, known as the Sengoku Jidai or the Warring States period. With the central government gone, the country split into hundreds of domains, each ruled by a daimyo fighting to survive. It was an age of Gekikuyo the low overthrowing the high, where loyalty was a suggestion at best. The Ashikaga shoguns clung to their titles as powerless figureheads until 1573, when the last of their line was chased out of Kyoto by the up-and-coming warlord Oda Nobunaga, officially ending the shogunate. Out of the chaos of the Warring States period rose three of the most legendary figures in Japanese history, the three great unifiers. The first was Oda Nobunaga, a brilliant but brutal daimyo who started unifying Japan with raw military power. After Nobunaga was assassinated by his own general in 1582, his best commander, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, picked up where he left off, using a mix of force and diplomacy to bring most of Japan under his rule. When Hideyoshi died in 1598, he left a young son and a council of 5 powerful regents to rule. The most powerful of them all was the patient and cunning Tokugawa Ieyasu. The council almost immediately split in two, those loyal to Hideyoshi's son and those who backed Ieyasu. This power struggle exploded on October 21, 1600 at the Battle of Sekigahara. The Battle of Sekigahara was the moment that ended a century of civil war and made Tokugawa Ieyasu the undisputed master of Japan. In 1603, the emperor formally named him shogun, establishing the Tokugawa Shogunate. Ieyasu set up his capital in the small fishing village of Edo, which would one day become Tokyo. The Tokugawa dynasty would rule over Japan for more than 250 years in an era of peace and stability known as the Edo period. To make sure that peace lasted, the Tokugawa created a brilliant system of control. The country was divided into a strict class system with samurai at the top. The shogunate made every daimyo follow the *sank in Katai *, or alternate attendance system. This forced them to spend every other year in Edo and leave their families there as hostages, a clever trick that drained their wallets and kept them too busy to plot rebellions. On top of that, the Tokugawa enacted the Sakoku policies, putting Japan in near total isolation from the rest of the world. This ban on most foreigners and foreign trade was meant to keep out disruptive ideas. This long period of isolation created a unique and vibrant internal culture, giving rise to kabuki theater, ukiyo-e woodblock prints, and a booming merchant class. For over 2 centuries, the Tokugawa system worked beautifully. But by the mid-19th century, pressures from both inside and outside Japan were starting to crack the foundations. Internally, the economy was struggling and social unrest was on the rise. Externally, the world was changing. In July 1853, that bubble of isolation was burst when Commodore Matthew Perry of the U.S. Navy sailed his black ships into Edo Bay. Perry used the threat of his powerful cannons to force Japan to open its ports to foreign trade. For many Japanese, the shogunate's failure to stand up to the Western powers was a deep national humiliation. It exposed just how far Japan had fallen behind the West in technology and shattered the shogun's authority. Anti-shogunate feelings exploded, especially in powerful Western domains like Satsuma and Choshu. They rallied behind the slogan *Sanji*, revere the emperor, expel the barbarian, arguing the shogun had failed and power had to be returned to the emperor. Facing massive pressure and the real threat of another civil war, the 15th and final shogun, Tokugawa Yoshinobu, made a monumental choice. In 1867, he officially resigned, returning political power to the young Emperor Meiji. This event, now known as the Meiji Restoration, was the official end of the shogunate system that had ruled Japan for nearly 700 years. While some Tokugawa loyalists fought back in the short Boshin War, the age of the shogun was over. The new restoration government quickly got rid of the feudal system, abolished the samurai class, and put Japan on a fast track to becoming a modern, industrialized nation. From Minamoto no Yoritomo founding the first military government to Tokugawa Yoshinobu's final bow, the shoguns defined Japan's feudal age. They were more than just warlords. They were patrons of culture, architects of intricate political systems, and leaders who oversaw both brutal wars and incredible periods of peace. Their 700-year reign forged the samurai spirit and left a permanent mark on Japanese society, setting the stage for the nation's dramatic entrance into the modern world. What do you think was the most important legacy the shoguns left behind? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this whirlwind tour of history, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the epic stories of the past.